My friend told me about this study they did a few years ago where they injected these beautiful redwood trees with a chemical similar to adrenaline, so that way the trees wouldn't go into hibernation. And these mighty trees that normally live for hundreds of years died within 1 year because they didn't have a season of wintering. And I think about us humans, the way we expect ourselves to be in constant spring, always blooming, always producing, always distracted, and not making time for those moments with the people we love or those moments with nature. Distraction is the death of art, but boredom is the birthplace of it.
Nope, absolutely not. First of all, coastal redwoods are evergreens, and so they don't hibernate in the wintertime. Evergreen. Also, adrenaline is a hormone that is specific to animals, including humans, and I'm not sure if the person who's narrating that thoughtful piece is aware that redwoods are not, in fact, animals. Otherwise, I thought it was a lovely location, and it looked like a refreshing thing to be doing during the summertime. But I'm starting this class off with that particular TikTok video just to underscore the fact that probably the biggest overall theme of this class is about scientific thinking. And that video was a good non-example. That's definitely not scientific thinking. And not only was the content of it not scientifically sound, but hopefully the way people viewed it, that they wouldn't take it at face value. They wouldn't take it as an authoritative truth. They wouldn't believe it. So that's, if they did, that would be another example of their non-scientific thinking. So, skepticism rules the day in scientific thinking. And I have to say that probably now more than ever in the history of humanity, we are presented with messaging that requires skepticism to make sense of almost on a daily basis. So welcome to this course, EDEF 605, Introduction to Educational Research, for this summer 2026 session. My name is Greg Sherman, and I will be the instructor for the class. I'm the designer of it and the facilitator, and I will be the one who's going to be assessing your progress based on your reflections and the projects that you develop for me. I'll be giving you feedback over those. And I will be a presence on video regularly throughout this class, since it is an asynchronous online distance ed course. So just a little bit about myself. I have been an educator for my entire adult career. I started out as a secondary education science teacher. Biology was the main class that I taught for ninth graders. And I did that job for about 10 years, and I kept going back to school, and I fell in love with the field of instructional technology, which is about designing learning experiences and evaluating them, and particularly sort of mediated experiences. That is experiences, learning experiences that integrate a lot of technology resources. So it was a good thing to go into 30 years ago. It's still an important field of study. And I teach courses in technology integration at Radford University as well. So you will see a lot of the examples that I give in this class. I will give them either in the science area, because that was my area of teaching when I taught content, and also in the area of technology and learning. So those will be a lot of the examples that I will be providing in this class. I have quite a bit of research experience over my career in higher education. And actually, I started my formal kind of research focus and application when I was a regular classroom teacher. And one of the stories I tell in this first week of class is a story about some research that I did when I was a student in a class similar to this while teaching. So, but since going into higher education, I have focused on studying variables primarily in the area of instructional design and evaluation and the use of technology to support learning. And I'm still doing research in that area today. In fact, I am going to be implementing a small research study in this class. So some of the things that you're going to be doing in this class are actually going to be part of that study. And it involves the use of AI within the teaching and learning experience. So you'll learn more about that as we go through the semester, but I do ask you in this very first week to read through the consent form and to agree to it or not. It's up to you. There is no pressure there. Your grade is not influenced by whether or not you choose to allow me to examine the data from the work that you do in this class. That's completely up to you. Again, it won't impact your grade, and everything will be anonymous, and you can read all about that in the consent form. So that's something I do want you to do during week one. And speaking of AI, I want to explain a little bit about how this course is going to operate this semester, because this is a very different version of this class than I've ever taught before, primarily because of AI. During the last few semesters, like many teachers, I've had to grapple with the manner in which my students used AI to help support the projects that they developed. I believe, well, I know more than just believe, but I know that AI was used to help support students when they were taking online exams. And so I had to reframe how I wanted my students to use AI and how I wanted to use AI as an educator. So for this particular version, and also because it's a summer class, we're not having any course exams. It's only going to be based in terms of grading on these very selected readings and reflections, and also a number of course projects. A couple of those course projects are going to be group projects, and before you groan too much about the possibility or the prospect of doing group projects, I just want you to know that that I'm going to employ the use of AI to help with that process. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about this course. As you can tell from this course, I don't use D2L, which is Radford University's learning management system, for anything other than as a grade book and as a place for you to submit some of your projects and reflections. So there are assignments folders in D2L, and that's also where you will receive feedback over the work that you do submit. So everything else is going to happen within this web-based framework. And I'm doing that primarily because over the years, as I've taught distance courses, I have learned that trying to use a learning management system like D2L as the primary hub of activity for the class really puts a lot of limitations on my ability to develop, and also on the user experience and the user interface. And I'm hoping that you'll find this homepage and this experience more satisfying for you, easier to use once you get the hang of it, and also that you'll appreciate the kinds of resources that I get to deliver within an environment like this. So this is going to be your home for the next 7 weeks of the class. And speaking of the class, as I mentioned earlier, the overall purpose of this class is to help you learn how to think more scientifically about your job, about you as a student, about how you approach learning new things, and how you assess the value of things. All of that can be enhanced through really sound scientific thinking, and that truly is that truly defines what research is. It is the application of scientific thinking. So that's going to be the emphasis for this course. And so I'd like you now to examine the 3 links below that are accessible via buttons on this page. The first one, well, first of all, I encourage you to look around the website just to get a feel for it. You're going to get to know this place pretty well, since you're probably going to be navigating here every day over the next 6 or 7 weeks. And then I have a formal website tour in a video that I want you to examine, as well as part of that video, it presents the specifics about the course syllabus. And hopefully that will answer a lot of your questions you have about this class specifically. So pay close attention to that. And then I also have a link to the consent form for the research that I'm going to be conducting this semester. So there's a button for that. And then finally, when you're ready to formally begin this class, there is a button that will take you to the week 1 introduction. And I'll be having a new introduction every week, and you'll notice that as the course progresses. Also, you'll notice that I don't post things more than a week in advance. So nothing for week 2 is posted yet. You'll have some indication of what's coming in the future when you look at the information in the syllabus and the course calendar. But for now, it's week 1, and the activities and experiences you'll have are all hopefully presented very clearly within the week 1 pages. And so with that, I ask you to again examine the rest of the information on this page. And as I will mention always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, my contact information is on the syllabus area, in the syllabus area, and I'm happy to answer any questions via email or phone or Zoom that you might have. So I hope you enjoy the class, and I hope you get a lot out of it.
There's 2 kinds of dangers. One is what I just talked about, that we've arranged a society based on science and technology, in which nobody understands anything about science and technology. And this combustible mixture of ignorance and power, sooner or later, is going to blow up in our faces. I mean, who is running the science and technology in a democracy if the people don't know anything about it? And the second reason that I'm worried about this is that science is more than a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we're up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes ambling along. It's a thing that Jefferson laid great stress on. It wasn't enough, he said, to enshrine some rights in a constitution or a Bill of Rights. The people had to be educated, and they had to practice their skepticism and their education. Otherwise, we don't run the government. The government runs us.